Okay, so here's Asia, right? I mean, these are all the regions of what's considered Asia, okay, including the Middle East, by the way. So when you were in Dubai, bro, you're still part of Asia, but the way we talk about it. But here, let me show you a couple of things. Go to the next slide. Okay, so you got 8.2 billion people in the world. 1.4 are in China, 1.4 are in India. This, like, what it means to me is this conversation here about India. Then you see it's like there's a lot of Indians, man. Like and what we're seeing right here is there's so much variation. Top 10 countries with the most ethnic groups in the world. And India is like about 2,500, man. You all hear them talking about the different places where they're from and like, oh, you're from such and such a place or you're whatever. 2,500. Think about how we talk about ethnic groups in the United States and cultural groups. Sit here, Indian American, but we haven't talked about what's your ethnic group actually in India? Like, this is a whole different conversation. Like, he's not just Indian American. Like,
so in terms of Indian ethnic group, I'm Gujarati.
Gujarati, which has a whole world of meaning for other Indians, which doesn't have any meaning to you and I. Right? But for you, this is big. You're not just, it's people be like, oh, you're Indian. It's like, actually, I'm Gujarati. But you wouldn't say that.
No.
To them, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what they're 1.4 billion people in the world. You know what I mean? So it's like the way we have these conversations about race and ancestry and ethnicity and so on are really guided by things that we don't see, like 1.4 billion people and 2,500 ethnic groups. See, I put a circle around that area down there. That's Malaysia and Indonesia. So it's a very small part of the world, okay? But I want to show you. Go to the next slide. But Malaysian, look at the number of living languages. Like, the world is a big, big place, man. 700 living languages in live languages in Indonesia. It's like, man.
Does Indonesia have a main language? Does it have like a...
There's 3 different kind of main languages.
3?
Yeah. But, it's like in Malaysia, Malay is the main language. It's like, this is big, right? Go to the next slide, though. I want to show you this about India. 121 major languages and 20,000 dialects as mother tongues, right? So he just said is Gujarati, right? But there's a lot of dialects in Gujarat. You know what I mean? So, like, what's so fascinating about this conversation with these 5 people is you represent so much diversity in the world and so many people, and yet we just sort of pass it over sometimes as though like we have this race conversation in the United States that is so narrow. Yeah.
Wow. The different dialects, is that difference between language and dialect?
Yeah, well, a dialect, language has like a formal structure and formal patterns and able to write it. And dialects could be like, wait, how many dialects do you guys speak?
So like, how are you would be in Kutchi.
Okay, next
and
one.
he's laughing because it's similar in Sindhi.
Okay.
And then what was your next one? How's your day going?
Yep.
Anjo di kero ane to.
Okay, the next dialect.
And then in Gujarati, it would be like, Tame kem cho? That's his dialect. And how's your day going would be, Tamaro divas kevu jaye che?
And the third dialect?
That's just Hindi.
Oh, that's Hindi. Okay, yeah. So it's like, this is serious.
Yeah. Especially because English is very, I guess, straightforward. What dialects would be?
No, I don't know. If you travel around the UK.
Oh, see, I was about to get there. Yeah. Actually, would a dialect be like a Scottish person?
Yep.
Interesting.
Go to the Caribbean. Yep. And so you really see how India, right? Like there's different words, different patterns, and so on. Yeah. So it's big.
So, Professor Sam, could you just distinguish one thing? Like, it's not just this. From what I understand, it's not just the difference between like how Scottish people speak English and how English people speak English. Like, if I spoke in Kutchi, with him, he wouldn't understand it, even though Kutchi is a dialect of Gujarati. But he might understand it, because like it's
Yeah.
a bit weird for me to
Yeah,
explain
because
it.
you're gonna have different words, different speech.
Yeah, like the
patterns.
words would change themselves.
Yeah, Indian culture is big. When we say Indian culture, man, we're like, dude, it's big. It's like American culture. American culture is so complex. But what parts of your home do you think would be really cool to see here in the United States?
Not really sure, because you have like little pockets of Indians everywhere scattered in the United States. Like when I was born near Edison in New Jersey, which is like a big Indian.
Dude, it's like it's India inside the
Exactly.
US.
So
Yeah.
like, if you really needed to like have an Indian experience, you could go somewhere in the US and find people who are like-minded, you know?
Yeah. So you could feel like you're there.
But one of the biggest things that I've noticed is the culture at home with families. So India is very family oriented.
Yeah.
And so everything we do together, you know, obviously dinners and stuff like that every night I have with my family. Sundays, I tell my friends beforehand I am not going out, because Sunday is family day, that's reserved. And I know that's the case for most families as well. Indian families, and even all of like my friends in India and stuff. But whenever I've come here, I've traveled quite a bit around the US as well, and so I'd crash at my friend's house for the night, and so I'd get to talk to their parents and stuff like that. And it's just, I mean, it's been like 2 months, you know, it's Thanksgiving break, 2 months since they've seen their son, and they just say hi for like 20 minutes and they go to doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
like for us, I would land back home at like 11 p.m. and still my mom would sit with me till like 2 a.m.
She'd have a big meal for you.
Yeah. And the thing
she'd
is,
be forcing you to eat it.
exactly. And the thing is, so I'm quite close with my family. This is just a personal thing. Not everyone is. So we're on call, like we speak on call every single day. But despite that, when we're there together, you know, that personal presence, that's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And so we will even just like sit together and do anything. And having that kind of family relationship is quite different than what I see over here in the US, because even like on the weekends, the parents are like, oh, I'm going to do my thing, you know?
Yeah. Now, do you see that in your household?
Yeah, I would say so. Family's a really big thing growing up. Like, if my friends asked me to hang out 2 days in a row, I'd say I can't do that. The second day, my mom's going to say no. She would never give a reason why I can't. She'd just say, no, you're not going. That's too much. Yeah, that's what I was...
But basically, she's saying, hey, we have a group here. We have a family.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest difference would definitely be discipline and structure in your life for Indian people versus people from the U.S.
Are you guys, would you shake your head? Discipline and structure? Yeah?
I'd say your parents, like, if you're Indian, your parents, they choose most of your life for a big part of it.
Yeah.
They choose, if your friends are nice or not, they choose what career you want to pursue. They choose if you want to go do this activity or that activity, whether it's safe. Everything that you do has to go through them first.
That's really interesting to me. This whole conversation was interesting to me because I've noticed like the adoption of the nuclear family in the U.S. I have family all over the U.S. that I haven't seen in years, in a very long time. But then I call and then for like, again, 20 minutes and then hang up and it's fine. That, like, I suppose it's, I guess we're used to separation, and I guess we're not as family oriented. Well, I guess American culture isn't as family oriented as other countries. My family, personally, we all, like, it was 11 of us in a house for most of my life, until recently, but whatever. But I guess, because my family's Italian white, and Italian stereotypically stay in one house their whole lives, so... I can relate there.
So you can relate that.
Yeah, I can relate to the whole family-oriented thing.
And a lot of it depends on modernization, right? As a culture modernizes, as people modernize, we start to separate into these separate units, and yeah, huh.